Is now the time to sell your rental? Will the seller's market last long enough to make a profit? And how will taxes affect your bottom line? And what about that ban on evictions? Hi neighbors, Melanie Paragli with Century 21 Full Service Realty coming to you today from the pool deck where my sons have me grading their dive technique. So please excuse any splashing or sunburns. So first, yes, we're still indeed in an aggressive seller's market here in Rockland. That pent up buyer demand and those still low interest rates have created a really hot market that's likely going to last through the fall. Nothing lasts forever though. Last week we know that Rockland had 80 homes dump into the market. Interest rates have climbed up over 3% for the first time in a long time. And the spring-summer buying frenzy tends to die down once families are in place and the school year begins. So it's absolutely the time to sell that investment property or that second home if you had plans to unload it within the next year, 18 months. There are two main considerations for you, namely taxes and the current moratorium on evictions. The Supreme Court early last week decided in a 5-4 vote that the CDC did not have the authority to call for a ban on evictions at the start of the pandemic. The federal moratorium on evictions will not be renewed after July 31st, and that's good news for landlords nationally. But here in New York State, our moratorium doesn't set to expire until August 31st. So that timing is something you'll need to keep in mind if you're facing a tough situation with your own tenant. And also, as an investor, you already know there's going to be separate tax implications for the sale of your property, rental property. And I would highly recommend talking to a tax professional, an accountant about that, about your specific situation. But generally, if you've owned a rental property for a year or more, you will have to pay capital gains taxes on any profit you make from the sale. The current long-term capital gains rates, either 15% or 20%, depending on your income. President Biden has proposed an increase on that, taking that 20% to near 40% for any gains over $1 million. So there are ways to minimize that obligation. If you use the property as your main residence for 2 of the last 5 years before the sale, you're exempt. As long as you didn't exclude a different property within the last 2 years for that same reason. If that sounds like you, then you can exclude $250,000 in gains from a home sale if you're single, and up to $500,000 if you're married and filing jointly. So I hope that's helpful information. It's just really interesting to see how economic and political policy really directly impact your average consumer. So if you have any questions, let me know. And remember to always sell with Mel.